This is 5 Minutes of Political Common Sense for America. I'm Brian Boheim, the political engineer. And in this particular segment, I want to talk about a very emotionally charged issue, and that is the building of a mosque at Ground Zero. Now, the part that I am struggling with right now is the amount of politics that is involved in this conversation. And not just the obvious politics, the behind-the-scenes politics. And instead of jumping into an emotional tirade about this, what I want to do is look at it from a very common sense perspective. To me, there are two key issues right now. One is the issue of freedom of religion, and two, the use of federal tax dollars and state tax dollars to help support and fund the building of this mosque. So let's take a look at the first one, freedom of religion. In the Constitution, just like President Obama says, there is a right to freedom of religion. You should be able to build a house of worship, and the individuals who are of that religion should be able to go there and practice their religion. Makes sense. Got it. Agreed. So the question we have to ask ourselves is there a limitation right now? Is the Muslim community not have the opportunity to do that? Have we kept them as a government and as a people, kept them from practicing their religion? How many mosques are there in Manhattan? There are 104 mosques and 8 schools in New York City. So I right now am struggling with the idea that they are somehow being kept from practicing their religion. Clean, clear, and simple, freedom of religion is no longer an issue. And by the way, Mr. President, stay the heck out of it. This is a local and state issue. You shouldn't have anything to say about this, let alone supporting it. But here's the problem. There is an underlying political element here. The Washington Times broke a story recently that talks to the issue of the State Department funding Imam Faisal Abdul Rauf, who is the mastermind of the Ground Zero Mosque. They're funding him to go on a Middle East trip to foster greater understanding about Islam and Muslim communities in the United States. But I have a problem. Why are we funding it? Why is federal tax dollars funding this trip, first of all? And second of all, why is he going to Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, and Qatar? These are places that like us. These are our Middle Eastern friends. Why is he going there? Why is he not going to Fallujah? Why is he not going to Afghanistan and Pakistan? Why is he not talking to the Taliban? Why is he not going to Malaysia? No, what he's doing is he's going to places that are accepting, that like us, that are friendly. Because what he's doing is he's going on a freaking fundraiser. He's going on a fundraiser to get money to build the mosque. And why in all sanity and common sense is American taxpayer dollars paying for this trip at all under any circumstances? What I'm getting at here is there is a political undertone to this process of building a mosque near Ground Zero. I don't even begin to claim that I understand what it is that's the end game here. But the reality is, as taxpayers, as voters, we can say no more. We can say stop. It's time we stop allowing our politicians and our political leaders to use our taxpayer dollars and to use the Constitution in a manipulative way to defend these kinds of activities. Whether it's sending this guy over to the Middle East or building a mosque around the corner from Ground Zero, there's a certain level of reasonability, there's a certain level of practicality and common sense. And that is not being applied here. And it's time we insist that it is. You've been listening to 5 Minutes of Political Common Sense for America. I'm Brian Boheim, the political engineer. And if you like what you've heard here, then go pick up a copy of my book, Political Common Sense for America. You can find it at Amazon.com. Until next time, be safe out there.